It is a complete joy to be able to greet you and to have with us today for our last final World Missions Report going into our next General Assembly, Dr. Tim Hill, our General Overseer.
Thank you, Dr. Probst. It's a delight to be with you today, to greet everybody that's watching.
Thank you so much. 2 years ago, he was standing beside me at the General Assembly on World Missions Night when we launched the 365 Challenge. We've come a long way.
Come a very long way. It's been a journey, but an exciting journey, a fulfilling journey. And I stress fulfilling. God has used 365 in incredible ways.
Thank you, General. That means so much to our department, especially coming from you. Let me give you a real quick recap. If you remember when we launched 365, we talked about this being a holistic way of doing ministry on the ground. For the last 40 years, we've taken care of our missionaries the best we could. We've basically zeroed in on capital projects, but this was taking it to a new level, pushing ministry down to the field, meeting the needs of lost humanity, because I believe it was you that told me, if you remember, that if we meet the needs of humanity, we earn a right to speak into their lives.
Absolutely. That is so important to always go in with that approach, because if you feed a person when he's hungry, if you give water to a person when they're thirsty, then you have just unlocked the opportunity to go into their heart with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
We're going to give you some statistics because of the 365 Challenge, because of approaching doing ministry globally from a holistic way of looking at it and thinking about it. We've seen thousands of people saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. We've seen water baptisms. We've credentialed a whole new generation of ministers, and I know that's near and dear to your heart.
That's been my heart, especially these last 2 years. And what we've been talking about a lot is finding young men and young women to enter into credentialed ministry in the Church of God around the world.
And we're doing that. Now, all the stats that you're looking at represent global statistics that have come to our office here outside of the USA, outside of Canada. So we're giving God all the glory and all the praise for that.
Well, it's been amazing, Dr. Probst, because you have absolutely gone into the harvest field around the world, and these numbers are witness and testimony to the effectiveness of Church of God World Mission.
I promised you at the General Assembly, God being our helper, that we would offer your administration a vehicle to help finish the last day harvest, and that's what we've tried to do.
Well, you did make that promise, and you have lived up to that promise, because you've made these reports very regularly, and you have kept the church informed. I want to commend you and the entire staff on that. You've kept us informed. Thank you.
If you can go to cogwm.org, you find all of our financial reports. You find all of our videos, all of our statistical reports. You can discover our missionaries. You will know in real time what God is doing through Church of God World Mission.
Well, and that's important to the people that give, the donors, because trust is the currency. More than anything else, it's trust. And historically, Church of God people and others who give to the Church of God that may not have membership with our denomination, they've learned to trust the integrity of Church of God World Missions, and that starts with leadership.
Well, the beauty of hearing you say that is I know you have gone before me. Your 4 years as a previous director of World Missions, you are really the first one that I saw to do the beginnings, the embryonic beginnings of a holistic form of doing ministry globally.
Well, years ago, I forget who it was, but they stressed the whole gospel to the whole world for the whole man.
Wow.
And when we talk about the entirety of the gospel going to the entirety of the individual, we're talking about, first of all, his soul condition, his emotional condition, his mental condition, and his physical health. The gospel of Jesus Christ affects every part of us. Right. And that's what World Missions does, not only when you preach, but when you deliver the food, when you deliver the water, when you deliver the product, whatever it may be, you're ministering to the entire individual.
The last year, we have zeroed in on Water for the World.
I love it.
We are digging wells, we're doing water filtration systems, we're doing bucket filtration systems, and you'll see the last 12 months of what we've been able to do, what our partners have been able to accomplish through the Ministry of World Missions.
Yeah. Well, there's two things I want to highlight. First of all, the idea of the 365 challenge. That says to me it's missions every day.
Wow.
This is not a program. It's not just an emphasis. It is a lifestyle. And you have adopted that lifestyle in the Church of God World Missions Ministry department, but it's also been adopted by the membership of the Church of God. When we see 365, and I'll grant it to you, when you first got up and explained that, there were people sitting out there that night wondering, what does that mean? Well, it means missions, evangelism, gospel, every day of the year. You got time for one more?
Please.
Let me tell you why this is important. This is probably not the best reference, probably not the best analogy. But Jesus told a story one day about a man who cried out for water. He didn't cry out for bread. He didn't cry out for money. He was in a very desperate situation. And the first thing he asked for was one drop of water to cool his tongue. And of course, we know what that story is, and it's a sad story indeed, but that man's cry that day is a cry that is universal. And what you've done, Dr. Probst, you have found a universal need and a universal solution. The universal solution is not the water. This is the door. And when you cool the tongue of the thirsty, the tongue of the needy, then you have also brought in the living water, the living well that takes care of everything else. Thank you for what you've done.
God bless you, General. Thank you for your support. I knew that it was risky when we launched it, but I thought we had heard from the Lord.
You did hear from the Lord.
And I think we did.
Yes, you did.
Thank you for that. And to have you with me every step of the way, you helping guide all of this, it has meant the world to me personally.
It means a lot.
And it has been a success. To God
be the
all
glory.
Amen. There's no way that we can thank you, our partners, for all that you have done for us and all that you continue to do. Without you, we in World Missions and the Church of God cannot do what God has called us to do. We are looking for the best yet to come through Church of God World Missions. It is a delight to be with you, to be able to join you. It is my honor and delight to have my friend, our beloved General Overseer here with me. His endorsement means the world.
Well, you have my endorsement and all of the executive committee. Dr. Probst, let me just say, when God many years ago raised up Church of God World Missions, He did it to touch the world, obviously. The very nomenclature, the very name of that implies that. But Church of God people have been the custodians. Church of God people have been the guardians of getting the gospel around the world. In what, 191 nations, regions now?
191.
And I want to tell you, when God allowed you to come to Church of God World Missions, He obviously had prepared you, He had anointed you, He had gifted you for what needed to be done at the time and what God is doing right now to touch countless souls with the gospel. Thank you.
Thank you, General. There will be another report at the upcoming General Assembly, but for now, receive this with gladness. We love you. We bless you. God bless you is our prayer.